Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Build Your Own Economy podcast. And today I have a special guest. His name is Ryan Loede. Now, Ryan's an interesting guy because at a young age of 25 years old, he's building a 9-figure company in the financial services space, specifically insurance. So if you're in the insurance industry or financial services, you don't want to miss this. He's going to share with you the new model that he's taking, an approach that I think is revolutionizing an industry. He's building out his new facilities, talking about state-of-the-art stuff. We talk health, we talk wealth, we talk taxes. This is an episode you don't want to miss. Check it out. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ryan Loede.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me on, David.
So, Ryan, tell me, what do you do, bro? Because I see you looking always GQ. You're always talking, you're always moving, you're always shaking. I see you on Facebook and Insta and everywhere else. So tell the world, what is it that you do?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, David, just want to say thank you for bringing me on here. Really awesome. We met each other about maybe 3, maybe even 4 years ago I believe it was at the Lodge with Coach Burt.
Yep.
It's very awesome that Coach Burt throws those events to get like-minded individuals together. But if your followers don't know me, I take full responsibility. My name's Ryan Loede, like you said. 25 years young, living here in Sunny Isles Beach, Miami, Florida. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I've made about 4 moves since I became an entrepreneur about 4 or 5 years ago. I jumped into the insurance industry with no prior sales knowledge, no intention of really taking it as far as being a full career. And now I'm building a 9-figure insurance agency and organization and helping everyday Americans create a multiple 6-figure renewal income within their first year at LC Financial Group.
Amen. So LC Financial Group, could you tell us what that stands for?
LC, it stands for life-changing financial group. So, there's a lot of organizations and jobs and careers like you can go anywhere and create income, right? However, one of our main focuses and why I, named it LC Financial Group, because I really want to change individuals' lives, not just change their income, but also like change the way they think, how they operate, how they live life, and making sure that they're really utilizing their full potential and full capabilities.
What makes you think this way, man? Because you said something, 25 years young. Obviously, I'm not discrediting your age, but I would say that a lot of people at your age, because I was there, and I'm going to call myself out, at my 25-year-old age, I had none of the ambitions that you do right now. Maybe I had some ambition, but it was probably not the right one. And for you to have the mindset that you do right now to say, hey, I'm trying to help shift the mind. I'm trying to help people see bigger. I'm trying to help people do big things. What drives that in you? How did you come to this conclusion that this is who you are?
Well, I'd say, I've been through a lot in my life at an early age, and that got me looking into mentors, looking into information. I wanted to better my own life, first of all, because if you can't help yourself, you can't help anyone else.
Amen.
So it all stemmed from me wanting to change my life. And I knew I was in the dirt. I was in the ground, like my thought process, my thinking, who I surrounded myself with, what I was doing on a daily basis. It was just absolutely terrible. And I know there's so many other individuals out there in the world that are in the similar position and the similar mindset and viewpoint with life. So really just, that kind of gave me purpose. And also, my mentor, Grant Cardone, gives me a lot of purpose as well, seeing how his main purpose is really changing other individuals' lives as well and making a massive impact on planet Earth, on the universe. So that really inspired me as well. I started listening to him about 4 or 5 years ago, and he really changed my life to kind of form me into who I am now. And he really just keeps me grounded and keeps me structured.
That's really cool. So besides Grant Cardone, was there somebody before GC, Uncle G, that you followed? Just like who sparked the interest?
No, there wasn't. So originally what happened was, sum it up smallly, is like I was just getting out of high school, and my cousin and his buddy were getting into insurance. They moved out to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm like, hey, well, I'm going to go visit my cousin in Charlotte. I've never traveled by myself outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And I visited them. They showed me what they were doing, with insurance, all the money they were making. And we came across a GC video. And then my cousin's buddy started listening to GC. And I think at one point in time, he shared me like a GC video. I'm like, man, that's the guy we were listening to a couple months ago. Like, and I was like, I just stuck to it. But to even go even further before GC, great question. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I was actually listening to like Zig Ziglar, Brian
Man,
Tracy, all of like the older, motivational speakers that really
Jim
changed
Rohn.
my mind frame and my mindset and viewpoint as far as life goes. Because you first got to change the way you think and the way that you see things in order to really make any permanent changes in the rest of the areas of your life.
That is exactly. It's interesting that you say all these things because I think a lot of these guys, what they help me do, because I could tell you a lot of stories, but they help me realize that whatever happens, whatever I've done, whatever I'm doing, it's all the result of my own best thinking. It's who I am. Like, and if I wanted to get better, it's on me. Nobody else is going to do it. And that's probably been one of my life kind of statements. The building your own economy concept came from not being a dependent, not thinking about, everyone else, but thinking about myself first because you can't give what you don't have. Right. And, it's been one of those things for so many years for me. And knowing that you've come from this is pretty incredible, man. And for you to follow Grant the way you do, by the way, I mean, I know people who are ultra ultra successful by definition of wealth and happiness in some respect who still just always impressed by Grant. Even myself, I'm just the guy's got such drive. It's incredible. And Coach Burt, by the way, referencing him last night, I text Coach because I saw, I don't know if you're following him still, but he goes live like three times a day. He's posting videos, he's doing reels, he's running events. And I said, dude, you have another gear. Congrats. Tell me, I mean, as we enter 2023, man, you're running a financial services company, primarily in insurance. Tell me what are some of the goals for 2023 for a company like yours? Or if you want to tell us where you're at, maybe where you want to go, that would help too, so the audience can know how
Absolutely.
what you're
So,
doing.
yeah, right now we've got about 9 partners within LC Financial Group, and we're really primarily focused on Medicare health insurance, a little bit of final expense. However, my main goal is to have an office by March of 2023. We actually have signed on the proposal. It's a 2,000 square foot office here in Brickell, Miami, Florida. Absolutely stunning office on the 18th floor, good city views, very prosperous building. And we're going to be putting $80,000 to $100,000 into this office to get it filled. So when people come to work, they're not just coming to work to work, they're coming to work to prosper. And my main goal with the office is to have 20 employees in that office by the end of 2023. And that's gonna bring multi-million dollars worth of revenue as far as the organization goes. We have an office in Ohio as well that I have a good part and deal with as far as growing and structuring it. And we're going to be building out that model as well. We have a partner in California that's going to be building out his employee model office structure as well. So just really expanding on all fronts here in 2023.
That's interesting because the traditionally the insurance model has been independent contractor, direct to agent. What's the transition? Why are you transitioning to a direct employee model? Just curious.
Yeah, the reason why is because, I feel like a lot of individuals that want to go 1099, they don't have the discipline and the consistency to do so, to really see it through to full completion and really reap the true results that they're looking to get, you know, unfortunately. So the reason why I'm moving towards this employee model is to bring structure to individuals' lives. Many people don't have the structure and the foundation to really, achieve their goals and targets. A lot of people are just wandering around planet Earth, and not really much discipline and consistency. So building that structure, building the community and the culture where many people haven't seen something like it before. So it's really just all about giving people an individual structure.
Yeah,
That's the
and by the
main.
way, I heard some Zig Ziglar there, a wandering generality, right? You ever heard that? Where he says that people are wandering generalities, but they need to be meaningful specifics.
Mm,
But let's talk about that real quick because would you say, because this is interesting that you brought this up, would you say that even at your young age, you see that the workforce today, people who want to have a career or job, would you say that they're getting softer?
absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
And
As the years go on, from little kids, 1, 2, 3 years old, what they're being taught by their society, by their parents, by teachers, they're really being like handheld to a certain point where it just makes them really soft. They don't want to take risks. They don't want to be dangerous. They're not moving with speed. All those common sayings, slow it down, be safe. All those things are really creating a very, very soft individual nowadays in the universe. And unfortunately, it is really taking a play within the economy. And as far as the workforce goes, a lot of people just don't really have those traits and attributes as they should have.
I would agree with you 100%. Seeing and actually, it's so interesting that you're mentioning this about the work the 1099 to W-2 transition for your company because I know a lot of people in the insurance space, and a lot of them are taking this approach because they are struggling with finding people who want to perform. There is a lot of any business today invests in their people, but invests in lead generation, marketing. If they want to grow, they have to do those two things. It doesn't matter the industry. You got to get more people. You got to get those people through marketing and some sort of sales cycle. And I see constantly so many companies investing heavily in these areas. And then they have a 1099 workforce like for insurance, and that workforce isn't engaged, doesn't care because they have no skin in the game or have no real buy-in or have no ambition or no drive. And I've seen that for years. Now seeing so many people go to this direct to agent model in-house W2 producer, it is so unique and it's so honest truth. It's so profitable, I would imagine, for
Oh,
the ownership. I actually
100%.
know. Just thinking, I actually saw recently somebody I hadn't seen in years, and they have a direct they have in-house agents. They don't have 1099s, all in-house. They've been doing it for years in the Medicare space, and they do millions. I mean, millions of dollars, incredible dollars, but all in-house, which is very profitable for them. I mean, super profitable. It's incredible. So I'm excited for you, man. You're going to see your money's going to 10x this year. Easy
Absolutely.
10x.
100%. Yeah. And I appreciate that. One thing that you did bring up is the point about disengagement. And that is the number one cause for businesses failing is employee disengagement. So the more that you can do to engage your employees or engage your individuals within your organization, the more profit you're going to have and the more profitable the individuals are going to be themselves as well. And that's what I'm really excited about is because you have more control when you have employees, right? You tell them what to do, when to do it, how to do it. You can set guidelines. And it really, as I was saying earlier, brings a lot of structure to their life. It allows the business owner, myself, and others to be more profitable, as you were saying. And it also allows them to be more profitable because they have that structure, because they have to show up every single day. 90% of the time, they're going to be making more money being a W 2 than being a 1099. A lot of people
100%.
want to be business owners nowadays. A lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. They want to build their own organization. However, a lot of people don't have really, truly what it takes, right? Whereas, like, something that I've learned is like, hey, just go into an organization that is flourishing, that is prospering, maybe that's just getting started, and partner with them and play a big role within that organization. Show them what you're made of, and you're gonna make it up the ranks. And be making more money than if you did it by yourself. Collaboration's the new currency, right? The more
That's
people that you
right.
collaborate with, the more success that you're going to create. Bottom line.
You know, I see that all the time. You know, one of the guys I follow, I'm sure you know him, Patrick Bet David. He talks about the entrepreneur versus the entrepreneur,
Mm.
and I love the concept because there are a lot of people out there that need to be entrepreneurs. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, and a lot of people think that that's bad not to want to be, the boss. But sometimes you fit better in a role that's not the boss. And in fact, gosh, what company was it? There was I think it was, man, it was either Google or Salesforce. There's one of the guys who said himself, if I would have been the CEO, which is what somebody wanted for him, the company would have failed. And he would have been broke. So it was better for him to take a number 5 or 4 seat than a number 1 seat. And that's an impressive thought, man, because not very many people have that aptitude. That I mean, there's a lot of words to describe it, but they just don't get it. And so for anybody to see that, so if anybody's watching here and you're thinking, man, Ryan seems to be, trying to tell people that they don't want to, to have ambition to do their own thing. No, it's just being part of a circle like Ryan's here is probably more profitable for you than doing it all alone. Better together kind of deal. That's pretty impressive, man, for you to think this way, by the way. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Absolutely.
Crazy. So tell me about your, now let's kind of transition here because I gotta get some self-serving stuff for me because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs like yourself, especially somebody who's up and coming, somebody who's fighting to make every dollar, and obviously you're doing very well living in Miami. I can see the view out that way, so I know you're living in a nice place. Tell me what is it about taxes that you have learned over the last, let's say 8 or 9 years probably of your entrepreneurial journey?
Absolutely. I mean, taxes play a huge role in whether you're profitable or not. If you don't have the right tax accountant like yourself, David, you're going to be losing a lot of money. So really having the right tax accountant, and something that I didn't personally have for the first few years, is a really knowledgeable tax accountant and CPA. So having one in your pocket is going to help you be more profitable, and it's going to help you, really honestly expedite the process of building a business or creating legacy wealth or indestructible wealth or whatever you're, moving towards.
Yeah. Did you pay a lot of dumb taxes already?
Of course. Absolutely. Yep.
I call dumb taxes that were unnecessarily paid, right? People that pay the taxes because their CPA or their tax professional, whoever they go to, says, hey, this is just how it is. You're supposed to just write the check and, be grateful that you get to keep some of your money. And I'm like, no, that's a dumb tax. That's a dumb tax. You've been paying a lot of those. So in your business, when was the first year that you really paid some taxes? What was the first year?
When I became an entrepreneur, it was 2019. 2019.
Nice.
Year.
In 2019, it hit you that, oh crap, there's something here that I need to figure out. And there's a lot of things in 1099 employees. Obviously, yourself at the time, I'm sure you had all these ideas. You're going to write it off. You're going to do all these things. You're going to find ways to expense it. What are some of the things that you love spending money on that you think are tax deductions today for you?
I would probably say personal development. And whether it's going to conferences, boot camps, events, masterminds, I think that plays a huge role. Because number one, I mean, you're getting a tax write-off, plus you're getting an investment back into yourself, which is the number one best investment you can make, is back in yourself. So personal development, I'd say, is one of the best tax advantages in my personal opinion.
Heck yeah. I agree with you. And I can see that you spend a lot of money in personal development. And I see you doing all these things with Cardone and finding events. And do you have any events you're coming to this year? Do you already have some lined up?
Absolutely. I'm going to GrowthCon in 2023. That's February in Las Vegas. It's going to be absolutely game-changing, big time. I'm bringing a few of my partners there. I got 6 tickets. I first bought 1 ticket last year at GrowthCon and was going to be sitting diamond, which is like, second row of the whole event, $10,000 ticket. But
Damn.
I sold that, and I bought 6 tickets so I can bring my team with me. And so that's one of the
Amen.
events. I have an event for my organization, my parent organization that's above me. We're going to a multi-billion-dollar organization out in Kentucky, and then also I have boot camp that's in January as well, and I have a real estate summit that's next year as well. I believe that's like Q1, Q2 time. The real estate summit.
Real estate. You're an investor in real estate, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not a personal investor, but I've invested into a REIT, Cardone Capital.
Nice. So people who invest in real estate today obviously are looking for tax benefits, but they're mostly looking for return on capital. You've been very successful in a lot of ways. What's your strategy here? Are you looking for long term, short term for real estate? What are you thinking?
It's got to be long term. Everything in life should be long term. And my personal opinion is, especially with real estate, like let that money grow, let the money appreciate, let the asset appreciate, and let those rents continue to go up. And then 5, 10 years, 15 years later on down the road, refinance, sell the property, and do it over again, or just keep the
Hey,
property and keep seeing that cap rate go up and the NOI
that
continue to
mailbox money.
raise.
The
Yeah.
mailbox money, right? That's what we want. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of people who contact me every day. I mean, literally every day. I want to get into real estate. I want to save taxes, and so, dude, at 25, you're already doing all this. Man, this is incredible. I'm being serious. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, my first investment was it was after my first year being in an insurance. My main goal and main target, and anything I would recommend anyone to do if they haven't done it before, is to store away $100,000. As we all know, everyone can make money, everyone can create revenue and create income, but to actually hold on to that income and be disciplined enough to hold on to the income instead of putting it back into the marketplace is a very, very big key to actually really elevating your life. So I stored away $100,000 within my first year in insurance. And right when I had that, I'm like, man, I need to get rid of this money. I need to put this money to work. I need to go broke again for the right reasons. And that really had me back, inspired, motivated. It had me hustling like an immigrant, is what I like to say. So 2019 put my first 100K in Cardone Capital. I have 300,000 Cardone Capital right now, so nothing too crazy, but it's
Wow,
something.
that's pretty good, man. So I have a follow up for that because you just said something, and a buddy of mine had this came to me with the same idea one time. That work like an immigrant idea. What is that? Share that with me.
And so it's funny to say, because a lot of immigrants that come from outside of the United States, they come to the United States to experience freedom and to get away from wherever they were. And they come to the United States working like an immigrant. They're working harder. They're operating at a higher frequency. They're doing more. They're more inspired. They're more motivated. So that's where I really see it, is like, you always got to have that hustle in you, that hustle muscle, and that ability to work like an immigrant. So
I
that's really
I
where it came from.
I agree with that. I have a buddy of mine who is a first generation immigrant here, and he was trying to make that like his tagline. I don't know if he dropped it or he's still running with it, but he called it first generation mindset.
Mm.
First generation mindset, which I really like the idea. The concept is very simple. The majority of people who come to this country, first generation, come here with rarely anything at all. And if they do, that's okay. But they come from another country that obviously did not treat them well, or they didn't have the opportunities that are afforded here. Right. I love what Jim Rohn says. He goes, you don't call it the Poland dream or the Scotland dream or it's the American dream. And so many people come here to this country
Mm.
looking for opportunities, and they see them everywhere as soon as they get on the soil. They're like, oh my
Mm.
God, it's easy. And they hustle hard. I mean, that's incredible. I love watching people first generation because they hustle hard, and not very many people can see it or get it. But when you see somebody who's really working hard it's impressive. It's so impressive to me. Just, I mean, that's a good idea, by the way, to keep that. That might be like a tagline for your team. Immigrant mindset. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because a lot of people, they have money, they don't put it to work. It's just sitting around, it's depreciating, and they get comfortable, right? They get comfortable, they get stagnant, they start to rest on their laurels. Even me personally, like I have, $100,000. If I have $100,000 just sitting around, even that gives me some type of sense of comfort, right? So it's very important to, number one, stay broke, and number two, go broke. Stay broke, acting like you're broke, acting like you don't have money, setting those principles and those guidelines and those restrictions and barriers so you can create the freedom that you desire in life, because life consists of freedoms, barriers, and purposes. So, yes, we have a lot of freedom, but you're not going to have that freedom unless you have tight restrictions and barriers that you set in your life. So staying broke, don't put the money back into the marketplace once you create it, once you generate that revenue. Make sure you can actually hold on to it, like I was talking about, building that discipline to actually hold on to your money, and then just go broke. Put it into an investment vehicle, put it in an investment asset, or put it back in yourself or the business, obviously.
How did you come up with the $100,000 rule for you? It sounds like that's a rule,
Yeah,
or a value system.
it was actually a podcast I was listening to. It's a Grant Cardone podcast. It's a Young Hustlers podcast, and Jared Glant was talking about how to store your first 100,000. So I watched that. And I'm like, man, I got to store away 100,000. That first little incremental step of building that discipline and holding on to money. And once you see that 100,000, a lot of time when people start creating income and their income starts increasing, what happens? Their lifestyle starts to increase. So being able to stay frugal and stay disciplined with your money and how you spend your money is absolutely critical, because you can make a lot of money, but if your expenses are eating away the income and the revenue that you create, like you're barely even profitable. You don't have much net income. So that's the concept of creating financial prosperity and really creating financial success, is having income that exceeds your expenses, and then also taking it a step further, having passive income that exceeds your earned income.
Amen. Those are well said, man. So we talked a lot about we talked about some real estate, we talked about mindset, we talked about your company, we talked a little bit about taxes. Let's talk about my team is always talking about, hey, let's get controversial. Um and I'm thinking, like, I don't want to get too controversial on anything, but I mean, what are some of your opinions on, or what's your opinion on a lot of the things that Elon is doing right now on Twitter, by sharing a lot of his opinions, letting people back on Twitter that have been banned, things that maybe that you're seeing today that have not been around for a while. What's your opinion on Elon Musk and what he's doing with Twitter?
I think it's great. Honestly, I'm not really too like focused on it. I haven't really been looking at it or pondering about it. However, I think it's great. With what you had mentioned, it's perfect. If he's, allowing more freedom onto the Twitter space and allowing people to get back on there that were, previously banned, it's creating a more openly flowing communication, platform where, people can say what they want, do what they want. And it definitely brings a lot of, knowledge on there, I'd say.
Of course. Yeah, I agree with that in some respects. I think that there's a lot of people who are asking, why is Elon doing all these things, allowing people back and commenting and doing things. There's a lot of people out there that I don't agree with their opinions, but I don't think that they should be censored, like hidden. I mean, there's a lot of people I think are stupid, but I don't need to tell them I'm stupid. I just need to turn off the TV or whatever I'm listening to, right? I mean, that's our decision. Is there something that you currently follow right now? Is there like a topic or a trend in the media that you're following?
As far as like Instagram and Facebook goes, I really just follow GC, other top people like you mentioned earlier, Patrick Bet David. Ed Milet, a little bit of Brad Lee. I really just keep it as simple as possible. I don't try to study all these different individuals. I primarily only study Grant Cardone for the past 4 to 5 years. All the information, tactics, strategies, my mindset, my viewpoint, it all stems from Grant Cardone. Bottom line.
You you are a disciple, huh?
I like I said, I don't study anyone else. When I'm listening to podcasts, audiobooks, it's GC. All the books that I have a few books that aren't, but most of the books I have are Grant Cardone. And those
I,
are the only books that I read.
so here's the question: which is your favorite Grant Cardone book?
I'd probably say Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Bro, we just became best friends. I'm not even joking. It's my favorite book, bro. I feel like when I read that book, and I do read it, I've read it at least 3 times, at least. But every time I've read it, I want to kick down a door. Like I just want to I want to go home and just like kick down the door and be like, I'm home, right? Like this is my house, and I just want to tear shit up because it just gets you so pumped. Does it get the same feeling? Does that
Oh,
how you feel?
absolutely. I've probably read it 20, 25 times, and I can
Oh
continue
yeah.
to read it. I can continue to listen to it because here's what happens when you're studying and when you're diving into information. Say you read a book a year ago, David, and you read it again today, a year after, you're in a different position in your life. You think differently. You have a different viewpoint. You have a different you're working on something different in your life, so you're going to take away the information differently and you're going to apply it differently in your life. So
Heck
repetition's obviously the key to learning, right?
heck yeah. Well, that book, man, I'm telling you, so when there was a time, this was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was really into running. I just like to run, and so what I would do during the week, I'd run little short runs, and on Saturday mornings, I would have these long runs,
Mm.
and I would do, maybe it would never for distance; it was more for time. So I'd be like, I'm just gonna jog for 45 minutes in that direction, and I'll just come back. Like that was my deal, and that it was probably a good 6 months I was doing this, maybe longer, and I would only listen to GC books. And Boba was my favorite. Like that book, I would be running and just listening to the book, and it would get me so pumped. I mean, it just had me so inspired. I'm like, golly, like this is. I can still remember just the runs. Like it was just me, the open road, and Grant Cardone.
Yep. Yep.
It's so crazy of that, man. And I
It's
see you
fun.
running. Do you listen to books like that? I always see you
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because there's been a lot of times I play basketball here and there, and I'm very energetic. Like I don't stop on the court, and I'm actually good though, so I can back it up. It's not stopping. But people are sometimes like, "Man, what do you listen to? You must be listening to something." I'm like, "Yeah, just a podcast and audio, just an audio book." And I've been on over a year a no music diet. There was one about 2 to 3 weeks this year that I actually started listening to like music again, but over the year, no music, audiobooks,
Seriously.
podcasts, nothing besides just cramming my head with like information and knowledge, and that really keeps me structured. It keeps me mentally focused, and it keeps me emotionally flat as well. Because man, what
So,
I see a lot of people listen to music, and it's perfectly fine. It's just my personal preference. When I listen to music, I start thinking differently. I start acting differently sometimes, unfortunately. And that's just what it does to me personally. So I just stick with audiobooks, podcasts, and that raises my creativity. It has me thinking about business ideas. It has me thinking, more abundantly, and it just expands my mind because all I'm hearing is these mega successful individuals, billionaires, just talking over and over and over again. Because what you listen to, what you hear, and what you see is going to impact what you create in your life.
heck yeah. I used to binge. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago, probably around the same time I'm telling you I was running. I mean, I would just listen to stuff all day, every day. I didn't have much of a, I mean, I had the ambition and the drive, but I didn't have the business at that time. I mean, I had businesses, but I wasn't as busy as I am today. Let's just put it that way. So I think about those days as kind of like foundational.
Mm.
It was foundational. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just consuming and consuming. I was reading 3 books a month, every month, 3 to 4 books, just consuming and consuming. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but it obviously it fed a lot of the ambition that I had, but it fed a lot of the knowledge, gave me more skill sets, exposure, understanding, and it was a lot of fun, man. I can remember. I actually wish I had more time to do that. That's the interesting thing. I know people say you can make time, and I'm trying, but when you're trying to develop something that nobody's done before, or you're building something big, sometimes it's hard to set aside that time. So you get it in that no extra time zone, in the car, at the gym. But sometimes I just wish I had a whole day of just consuming stuff. I mean, that would be ideal some days for me, but I'm not there yet. I haven't created that yet. So two last things. I'm going to ask you something because recently, I when I follow you, I see things that you're always doing, and it seems like obviously wealth is a big priority to you, building wealth, and the second thing is building health. Tell me what got you into health, and then kind of what you're doing now proactively, because it seems like you're on it, man. Talk about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for noticing that. Definitely means a lot. And not many people really give me admiration for my health. So I appreciate that because everything that I do, everything I put in my body, and everything that I do within my life, it revolves around health. So growing up, I was very active. I was playing sports, elementary, middle school, a little bit of high school. But during high school, I started surrounding myself with the wrong type of individuals. I started smoking weed. I became a daily addict of smoking weed every single day, not just once a day. Like this is 5, 10 times a day, maybe even more. Who even knows? I was drinking at a young age, started probably drinking around like 14, 15 years young. And between the ages of like 14, 15 till about right when I got into insurance, that's all I was doing. I was like at rock bottom. I looked older than I was right now. I look at like pictures sometimes. I'm like, man, that dude looks like he's like 30, and I look younger as I am right now. So stemming from that, my cousin's buddy was actually, and this is going into my lifestyle. I'm actually vegan, and I've been vegan for
What?
years. Yeah, I've been vegan for 5 years, and my cousin's buddy, when I first went out to Charlotte, he was vegan, and that kind of introduced me to that. And then also he introduced me to the medical grade water that I drink on a daily basis. I drink 1 to 2 gallons of medical grade 9.5 pH water. It's called a Kangen water. The brand is Enagic.
Kangen water.
Yeah,
Got it.
it's a $5,000 water machine.
Yeah.
Literally all I drink is water. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink soda. I drink juice. I drink pressed juice. I do pressed juice shots, ginger shots, chlorophyll
Heck yeah.
shots, turmeric shots. And I'm just very physically active as well. I work out every single day. And I think, a lot of people, as they start to create wealth and as they really have this hunger for creating a lot of income, creating indestructible, legacy wealth, they lose the factor of like keeping their body in check. And, I really hone on to this because no matter how much money you have 30, 40 years from now, if you can't walk around, if you can't actively do things, it's going to mean nothing to you.
You'll
And
trade
then
it all.
also, you're going to be able to create more wealth. You're going to be able to speed up the process. You're going to be able to be more intentionally focused if your health is in check.
That's right. That's right. Wow. By the way, how do you get your protein?
That's a great question. So I just recently did my blood work with 10x Health. So I'm very, very into 10x Health. I do, as I'm sure you know by now, I do NAD IV drips. I do 1,000 milligram NAD plus IV drip every 2 weeks.
Nice.
Wow, I'm telling you, if there's anything to invest your money into, start investing it into NAD plus IV drips.
I'm actually doing one this coming week. I did some ozones these last few weeks. I was actually trying to combine an ozone with an NAD, and they wouldn't do it because they said I'd probably blow up. But where do you get protein? What do you eat for protein source?
Yeah, the protein. So right now, I do a lot of protein shakes. So right when I wake up in the morning, I do 40 grams, and then periodically, like throughout the day, I'm doing another 40 grams. So that's 80 grams right there. And then I eat a lot of I fast throughout the day. So anytime up until dinner, I'm eating like nuts, almonds, macadamia
In
nuts.
your
Like,
fats?
yeah, and I'm a big faster. So, do I get enough protein? Probably not. Am I gaining muscle? Absolutely. So something's working. I'm just,
That's what I'm wondering, dude. That's what I'm wondering. What protein are you using? What company?
I get this protein from Whole Foods. It's amazing grass. It's vegan protein.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, clean ingredients, and it does me very well. So. Um,
Interesting, man. Well, that's
I
really
just
cool.
continue to repeat the successful actions. If something's working, I continue to repeat it.
That's interesting to me, man, because I wouldn't have guessed you're a vegan. No joke. Like I would not have guessed that. Now I knew you didn't drink, and I knew you took it, great care of your health. But I just did. I wouldn't have guessed that, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, been 5 years vegan. Haven't ate anything. No animal product. I don't even eat honey, which it's
So
like I
you're
don't
like,
think it's a big deal, but it. I'm building discipline in my health, and that allows me to carry it into other areas of my life, right? Because if you can build discipline in one area, it will stem into other areas of your life. So
the
I
lack
think it's
the
it's
lack
almost
of
more of a
discipline
discipline.
is the lack of discipline is what destroys anything, everyone. The lack of discipline. I mean, we all have disciplines, right? It's just they're disciplines that are positive and those are that are negative, right?
Hmm.
but the lack of the painful disciplines is typically the ones we need the most. We need the ones that we don't want to do. I always tell my team the thing you don't want to do the most today is the thing you need to do first.
Mm.
The thing you don't want to do is the thing you must do because most of the time that's the most important thing. Making the phone calls, following up on the emails, calling in on the sales client, those are the hardest things. We got to get them out of the way, man. So taking care of your health. Now, last question, man, and it's kind of staged, but I think this is something that I don't ask enough, and I think you would be a great example. Is what is the concept of building your own economy mean to you?
Absolutely, and I love how you're doing that. That's great. It reminds me of "If You're Not First, You're Last," Grant Cardone book.
Yeah, yeah.
What it specifically means is not having to rely on the economy. You're building your own economy. You're able to create without the economy affecting what you create. So, in a downturn economy, in a contracting economy, in a recession economy, you're not being affected because you're creating your own economy. You're not reliant upon the economy. Build your own economy. You're building your own economy by your actions that you put out, by your disciplines, by the products and services that you sell. So that's what it
Amen.
truly means to me.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing all this with us and all the audience. You are incredible, bro. I can only imagine at 30 what it's going to look like, and you're almost. I mean, you're definitely building something, and the momentum you're carrying. You may not see the fruits of this right now. I mean, I know you're seeing some of it. You probably don't realize the impact. I mean, I know we don't talk often, but we do talk. But I mean, just from afar, I can already tell you I'm impressed. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that are saying the same, man. So congratulations on all your success and definitely thank you for being here today, my man.
Absolutely, David. Appreciate you having me on, and look forward to continuing to win with you and see you win as well.